Alright guys, today we're going to take a crack at this. It started out life as a stock ABUS rock, and with the stock core, and this one is a custom core by the way, the stock core are 10, so it only gets better from there. Even though these things are made in China, the rock is friggin' massive. This thing weighs over 3 pounds, which is 1.4 kilograms. The shackle itself is 5/8 of an inch thick. Just for size comparison, this is not a suitcase lock. This is an ABUS number 3 that we're all so familiar with. This thing truly is a massive, this is a beast. It's even more of a beast because Jason had a company called LockLab put in a custom core in it, and this is called it's a newer core called the Vitesse. Now take a look at that keyway. A lot of really nasty warding in there. Got that evil looking curve, and he asked them to come up with the nastiest bidding that they had, and this is what they came up with. It doesn't get too much nastier than that. We got high hiding behind a low, high, another high in front of it, and then 3 lows in front of that. Really, really slick. Take a look at that key. There's something unique about that little notch, and we'll take a look at that if we get it picked and if we can get it gutted. Beautiful, beautiful lock. It doesn't get any better than this. Anyway, let's go ahead and clamp this thing up and see if we can't figure out how in the world we're going to tension that thing. A normal tensioner doesn't look like it's going to fit in there. Alright, it looks like it's zoomed in, but it truly isn't. It's just a massive, massive lock. Alright, make sure it works all the way in, and that's a really strong spring on that core, but we got it open, and it is key retaining. So let's lock him back up and get him out of there. Alright, some challenges with this guy. Let's take a look. I am gonna zoom in just a little bit on that keyway so you can see just how evil this thing truly is. It's just nasty. We got a couple of challenges. First of all, very paracentric, got a very strong curve, almost like the letter C there. So we got to deal with that. The other thing is all of the warding seems to be very strategically placed. It's a Pfaffenhain. You guys probably heard of those before, and they're notorious for having evil, evil warding. So I'm going to have to find a way to pick from the bottom. I believe I've got a pick that'll do that. It is made by Rare Element. I think I showed you guys these before. They're 13 thousandths of an inch thick, and when I asked him to make them, this is exactly the kind of keyway that I had hoped to attack using these. So we'll try that. The other thing is tensioning. There's plenty of room on the bottom to put a tensioner. The problem is I'm probably going to need that room to access some of those pins, especially high cut pins. So you don't want to rob yourself of that. So I'm going to try to find a tensioner, and I think I have. This is by Mad Bob's. This is the 8.8 millimeter, which is about 29 thousandths. And what I found is that I can kind of position him right there next to that piece of warding, and then I shove him in there with my thumb, and he kind of wedges. He wedges him in there, and I think that will work. It's tenuous at best, but hopefully that'll be enough to overcome that spring tension. If not, I'll put a screwdriver in it. Hopefully we get it picked, and then turn it with a screwdriver. Alright, I am going to be trying the, again, 13,000. This is the hybrid pick. I'll tell you what, let's try something a little different. Let's try to cheat. Since I do have a 13,000, this is called the Cadabra, which is kind of like a Bogota, but the lock doesn't care. It's a rake. So shove them in there, put moderate tension to overcome the spring tension, try to find the balance point right about there, I think, and then just rake and hope for the best. I'm hoping to rake up a fault set. I don't really expect it on a Vitesse, but had to give it a try. Alright, I'm just going to go with a hybrid then. We're going to SPP him. So let's see what we got here. See if I can wedge him in there. He does fit. Just kind of work him around the warding. And I can feel the pins pretty cleanly. Hardly any dragging at all. So let's see if we can get... Okay, that was pin 5, and I felt a very slight turn of the core. I also felt my tension wrench kind of twist a little bit. So I'm going to use my pick, and I'm going to turn him like a key to hold that tension. And then I'm going to reposition that tensioner. I think that ought to be good. All right, let's get back to it. Quit whining about the tensioning. Just pick it. Since I did feel turn of the core, I am looking for counter rotation. And I think I got it right there on pin 3. Come on. I'm about to break my pick. It's a downside of 13,000. You really can't put a lot of pressure on it. There we go. All right, no open, but I felt him set. So he's a spool. I'll go back and find somebody else now. That was warding. That was pin 6. I can't quite get it. I'm going to break that. Hold on a sec. Let me finish him off with this. There we go. All right, got an open. Woo! All right, nasty access. This 13,000th, I think, is really coming in handy. Let me grab this guy out of here. Come on, come on. Oh, the shackle was hooked on the vise. Nasty lock. Let's go ahead and got him. There we go. We find a screwdriver, a big one. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm gonna need a cheater bar for my screwdriver. Man, when they put that in there, they didn't want that to come out. There we go. That was in there permanent like. Look at that. Oh, it had some Loctite on there. That's why, or epoxy. I'm not sure which. All right, let me move all this stuff out of the way. Keep the keys in there. Keep that screw in there. And I'm going to take my biggest tray to accommodate this thing. And put him here. Get the extra camera out of there. All right, you can see the key retaining feature, that little brass piece down in there. Looks like it fell off. Maybe he's glued in place down there. I'm not going to mess with him, but that's what that little brass piece is in there. And wouldn't you know it? All right, we do have a key. I'm going to go and lock him back up. We have a weird clip on here. And I don't know if these guys will get in there or not. Crap. All right. Let's try a pair of needle nose, and maybe I can spread them. Right tool for the right job, Bill. This is definitely not it. Why in the world would you guys do this to me, Abus? Try the semi-destructive technique. You know, these pliers ought to work. This is harder than picking the lock. Crap. Man, give me a break. All right. All this to get the tailpiece off. All right, I'm going to try to hold half of the plier and use a probe to pull the other side off. Then lift him off of there, maybe. There's probably some proprietary tool for this, which of course Bill doesn't have. That's what I'm talking about. All right, probably never find all those pieces, but they're right here on the bench, and one of them fell on the floor. All right, now let's try to see what we got inside of here. All right, key. This blown my concentration totally. And of course, it's a weird tailpiece. See if that's going to be too small. And that ought to work. We have by chance, I happen to have a tool that might work. All right, pin should be at the top. I want to double check. I want to align that like that, not with a groove. And this piece is too big. All right. Backup plan number 2. I'm going to gut it like this from the rear and use the plug as my follower. Not the ideal way to do it, but you do what you got to do. This is truly not ideal. All right, this is probably also not going to work very well because of that tail piece. If I keep pushing him like I'm doing, I'm hoping that there's enough room that he will pop before the other one does. Okay, we had a T-pin, and he's going to be in number 6. Improvise, Bill, improvise. All right, next guy. Also, turn this up just a little bit. Another T-pin looking guy. Abus is infamous for those guys. Spring doesn't want to come out. Naturally. Why would he? All right, next guy. He's our spool. Come on. There's our spool. Oh no, yeah, it is a spool. I was going to say it was a mushroom, but it is a spool. Trying to keep my finger on those other pins so they don't fall out. I've already screwed everything else up, so they'll screw that up too, right? All right, there's our spring. 2 springs, and then the next pin is right there. He's standard. All right, the next one is also spool, looks like. And the last one is a standard. All right, I'll leave that guy alone. Not going to be anything unusual in there. There is, yeah, just go ahead and pull them out. All the springs are the same. All right, let's take a look at the key pins. All right, number 1 is the one we probably want to take a look at. He looks like a spool, but in fact he's a key control and anti-bump element. Number 2. Come on, Bill. The lock was so big I had to put the camera in an unusual place. Look at that guy. Wow. He's like a meter long. Number 3. Also standard. Come on. Number 4. These things are really tight in here. I do not want to come out. Come on. Okay, that was number 6, standard. And the last guy, all standards, except for that guy. Nothing unusual about the core, no threading, nothing like that. There were no, and this is a surprise, I would have expected some anti-drill pins in there. There are none. Nothing. That is what I would think would have been a side security pin. Let me get my pick real quick, or a pick. And he's a live pin, but I didn't have to pick him. He's purely for key control. So we got 2 things for key control going. We got this guy, and I've seen other Vitesses that have more than one. This one only has 1 to worry about. And the other key control element is right here. This is an anti-bump feature and also a key control feature, because if you can't slide your key in far enough, if your key doesn't have this little groove to engage like that, you can't get it in far enough, and it also prevents you from bumping. So very cool design element to prevent that. Probably also a little bit for key control, but that's what it's for. Anyway, let me get these kind of straight. I totally screwed the gutting on this thing because have never gutted one before. Didn't know what to expect when I got in there. It started off wrong when I couldn't get the Phillips screw out. Anyway, here's what we got. We got nothing special was required to pick this guy. That little groove didn't come into contact with any element on the Bible or on the body of the lock. We had a spool, standard spool, and then we had 2 of the infamous ABUS T-pins in the very back on 5 and 6. Anyway, I'm sorry it's so sloppy, but I like to do these for the first time on camera, so we can all learn together, and I can prove to you guys exactly what a big fool I am. And I think I've successfully done that this time. Anyway, fellas, thanks for your time. Stay safe, stay legal. Jason, thank you for the lock. Vitesse, by the way, in French, it means fast or velocity. So the fast lock. Thanks, guys.